Welcome to Lucid Ascent, rising on the plains through the middle pillar with the alchemical Cabala. We have 3 classes left for this year, 2025, and they're timed to peak right just before the Winter Solstice. So during these next 3 weeks, we're going to immerse ourselves in the 3 paths of the middle pillar, one at a time. This week we'll be connecting Malkut to Yesod, then Yesod to Tiferet, and Tiferet to Keter, the crown, just before the winter solstice. So this first week, we are working once again with the path of TAV, the world key. I want to stress this. The world key is the main key by which we enter the tree of life and the kingdom. Okay? And the kingdom of heaven, which the Master tells us is within us. Key 21 is our master key to that inner door that enters into the inner planes of the tree of life. So again, this is the master key to enter into the inner planes into the tree of life. Persistent immersion with the core practice with this specific key will integrate the polarized aspects within your own psyche, within your own self and subconscious mind. And you will find yourself more frequently waking up in the inner worlds. This is the marriage of your own self-conscious mind and your own subconscious mind, merging into one. Often the experience here is very vivid dreams and lucid dreaming. So here's the middle pillar. We're going to do a quick review of this. So we've been working to bring the mind through the currents of the middle pillar. And we've been practicing visualizing and seeing and using our knowing to visualize the white light of Keter above our head. This is how we connect our self-conscious awareness to this reality. Down through the throat, through the heart, the golden heart center and solar plexus of Tiferet, down to the groin area, the purple light of Yesod and the moon, all the way down to our feet in Malkut, where we stand in manifestation. And then through exercises like the fountain breath, we'll take that awareness through our visualization and channel that awareness and light along the central inner channel of the spine, the middle pillar, back up to the crown. I want you to think about this tonight before your core practice. Every breath, every visualization, every moment of clarity that you have cultivated this year and years prior has been preparing you for this integration this week and this month. You've been doing lots and lots of work here with the middle pillar. When you visualize the auric egg and you do the fountain breath, you've been creating in your own field, you've been cultivating this vessel, this alchemical vessel for this work. So you might ask, why key 21 now? Again, at this stage, key 21 maps all of this integration that your spirit has been building, and it brings it into formation. The wreath is the completed circle of the entire 22 aspects of self expressed through the 22 keys of the major arcana, the psyche. And it's the shape of the auric egg that you've been building. It's the completion of the superconscious egg that we see around the Fool, which is the breath, the superconscious operating through the prana. This is why we do the fountain breath work. Don't neglect the fountain breath work in your visualization. This is your closest, most potent tool to bring down the finer life force through the subtle vehicles into Malkut. The figure in the world key is the balanced union of your own anima and animus, in Jungian speak, within the individual. This is the divine androgen of the Fool prior to manifestation, but it's also the result when you come back to the spiritual return and ascend back within. This union within yourself, this creates a completely new state of consciousness within you. Through this you ascend, and this is the way. The four cherubic creatures in the corners of the key, the man, the eagle, the lion, and the bull, these hold stability in the Saturnian structural aspect. And they hold that stability and balance across the planes so that they can anchor the teaching and the spirit. So key 21 is not necessarily about perfecting yourself. Often it's about recognizing the wholeness that one already is beneath the noise of the world. Okay, so let's review key 21 and the divine androgen. To give this key your attention now, as if you haven't seen it, and feel and sense in yourself, in your body, in your awareness, where do you feel a sense of completion or transformation in your own life right now? Looking at this key, ask yourself, where do you feel alignment in yourself? And feel it in your body, in your nervous system, your awareness. And where do you feel things coming into alignment in your current circumstances in the world? Please unmute yourselves one at a time and just share what occurs to you in this key.
I'm feeling all the alignment going to my heart, to be transformed, to be aligned, to be inspiring to my actions, and trying to, get in alignment with the heart area. Definitely focused on the heart area.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Rachel.
What came up for me is it's the feeling of the heart and throat area in that area. And it, when we speak honestly, we can tell that area resonates the most. It resonates, you know, maybe you could say warmly, a very an honest resonance to it. You can tell when someone's speaking from the heart, and that you can tell when you're speaking from the heart. So it has to do with bringing into being, into our wholeness of our being. Um, yeah, that's something like that.
Excellent. Thank you, Jess.
I'll just say that the thing that comes up is really just the thing of something being foundational. I'm trying to think just more of an like not so much like in my body of feeling, but just more of like sense of foundation. And it was something you just said something a moment ago, which really just kind of struck a chord right there with regards to how um it's like the full prior to the manifestation and just that aspect of I mean because just the whole thing with this key I mean it just the I mean things we see the two spirals the involution evolution stuff and with the wreath and just this sense of like com completion I mean because one of the aspects I mean with the four figures is they've heard like Matthew Mark Luke and John or it represents like earth water what is it? Earth, water, fire, um, well, air, right? I mean, just those four things. So just that thing of on that moment to moment, I mean, of that precipice of possibility, right? As we're experiencing life, but there's still that foundational aspect to reality, experience. I mean, whatever you want to phrase that, or take your
Yeah.
pick on that noun, but it is still that aspect of. And so that's where that just that sense of no matter what's going on, there's some foundational element there that that provides that sense of stability. So
Good job. Thank you. Easy. Yeah. Well said. I like how you tied all the elements in with this too, because yeah, that is the foundation for form, right? This is the threshold of formation, like in formation. Jesse was talking earlier about information and talking about AI and how fast that is. I I like I don't know if I make my definition for intelligence is just pattern recognition. That's one basic form because it like Jesse was saying earlier, I don't think it was recorded, but we was saying that, in essence, almost everything is this pattern we are in, whether we recognize to whatever degree we recognize the pattern. To the degree that we do, we seem to have an advantage in the way we are able to navigate and express ourselves in the world, right? If we know the map, right, and we know the way, which is the beauty of the tree and the paths themselves, because they give us something for the subjective mind to attach its its conceptual framework to to the limitless, right? And walk into this vast unknown. It's really remarkable. Who else? What do you see in key, the world key?
I see the well, this image in a way came to me in my dream like within the last month. I don't it was like all all these the four around me, but it was a book. It was like a big old book and there was angels on it. But then there is and it was I forget the name of this book, but it was my book.
Right,
It was my story inside this book, right?
right.
And I woke up the next day knowing what I'm supposed to do next, right? With my
Yes.
creativity, let's just say.
Yes.
And but then I think about how I'm constantly being pushed to rebirth and rebirth and rebirth. And sometimes it's very exhausting. But it's like I cannot not do the thing or not do the or you know what I mean? Like this AI thing, I cannot make I just can't. It's like something in me just it's do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a little shit, but it is like I can't do this or I have to do this. It's very very strong, very very strong. And so I have to do it. And so it's like this thing is pulling me and moving me and just driving every aspect of my life. And so I feel like that is it. It's just this thing coming through and moving me and shaping me. And like all of a sudden I'm look like, how did this end up? How did I go from there to there? It's just weird. Or how it just, but that's this card to me. It's like life is just coming through all the time here now.
Yeah. That's really beautifully said, Starlet. And I get it. I get the book thing and your book. I totally get that very much. It's quite an experience. Anyone else? What does this?
Yeah, I have something. So when you talk about alignment and I look at the world key and think about myself, I feel like most of me is falling into alignment, like my head, my heart, the creative aspects. And so I look at the feet. I'm actually drawn to the feet on the figure as if it's like, well, everything's in alignment except for I need to take that step and take it and make it real. That's what I'm feeling.
Hmm.
Like that's the next step that I need to do.
Okay, good. So you get that clearly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good, good. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it when people share. You don't have to be specific about what it is, but be specific to yourself, of course. But when it's my observation that we get way more guidance and inspiration throughout the day than we tend to usually acknowledge, right? I mean, this isn't always the case, but often it seems to be the case that we tend to kind of have an idea or know what we're being prodded towards or what we're being kind of pulled towards or called forth, what's coming if we pay attention, right? That's most of this work is just simply paying attention, right? That's why we develop the practices, the orange exercise, right? Learning to actually focus our awareness in one spot long enough so the self-conscious mind can't distract itself continuously from what life's trying to show us and presents to us. So thank you for that. I think it's interesting their foot's right there on the little red. So that's right, the color of action. Anyone else have anything to share on the world key?
Just briefly that the what Wellstar start and Susan were sharing, just kind of the thing that comes up, especially with the placement of the world key, right, where it's at and the whole order, and how the the thing is that we're, especially when Star was describing about how it's like the book and the next step and just that whole thing of inspiration, creativity, all of those things, and how a lot of or one way that like a lot of artists will view is that it's more of just really receivers for insight, inspiration, the muse, whatever it may be. With the and so just with that, it's the fact that in the center, because whenever I look at this card, it's like, okay, you have the right the four elements right there, let's say, and then but then there's this spirit in the center just dancing and just and then as Susan had mentioned, and I like that attention to the feet and just how there's that element of like action, activity, right? Just that aspect um to that. And so just the whole thing of the the fact that the kind of the entry point, for spirit and for all that is well, entry point, right? But for I guess what I'm saying is that something it's not just material. I mean, like, for our bodies, who we are on this earth, like we're not separate of the earth. I mean, we are all of the earth. We're here and all that. And it's that spiritual that spirit, that element, that that thing that animates our moves our being. And that whole additional element and infusion, if you will, of just rather than just being a rock or anything else, like there is a spirit that's there, and then that opens up to just all of this, the tree of life and all the things that we're hearing, going to that the divine element and that divine spark within us.
Yes.
But just that aspect of that, all of that, like, yeah, you can mix all the elements on the sun there, but then there's still, that spirit, that consciousness, that divinity, that whole element. And and so looking at it from the aspect of receiving and just all the exercise, right, we do the the fountain breath and the light and taking it, I mean, it very much resonates in that. So
Yes.
just want to share that. Yeah.
Thank you, Easy. Yeah, excellent points. So in the Western tradition, this is the root chakra, this key. And you'll notice along the spine, the middle pillar itself in the human form is the root chakra is the base. It's also the base of the tree here. And if you look at the blue pattern behind the world dancer here, it makes this shape almost very much like the sacrum itself. You see down here at the bottom, this little blue is almost like the coccyx here. See it activated, right? And we see in the 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 nude dancer, right, or covered by the grasping hand. So it's covering the generative organs, right? How organs of reproduction. So we don't see that there's this union, this androgynous union here. That's to be seen inwardly because what's happening here, this key is an algorithm that teaches our own subconscious to bring about this transformation, this transmutation, where we actually grasp that generative life force power. And it's that creative power that we all have, and the same power by which we came into incarnation, into this world. We are able to take it because it is purely creative, like you were talking earlier. It is its nature itself is pure creation. If it's not expressed in the external world and it's raised like into the ethers as the dancer is being raised with the power and the rods here, right? As it's raised, that potency is still creative. That's what you should remember. It never loses its potency to create. So, at what level then can we create if we're not using this life force just to procreate forms in the human flesh? It's something to think about, as this key tells our subconscious exactly what to do to open that inner door that leads us into the inner and higher vibratory states. All right, we're going to move forwards here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for sharing your light and insights into the world key and for all the work you've done this year. It's quite remarkable. For months now, we've been building, attuning, clearing, refining the middle pillar in your own vehicles. Tonight, when you do the core practice, you're going to step into the expression through key 21. The integrated self into the very center of your own auric field realized. The world key isn't simply the end, like the last key of the arcana of something. It is the completion of a cycle, which then becomes the beginning of a higher cycle. The world key is what the middle pillar feels like once it comes through you as lived experience. And this door goes both ways. Collectively and individually right now, we're all experiencing a major shift as the astrology, the astra that we are in the solar body that we are part of, are. Pluto is now in Aquarius. Aquarius is up here in the left upper corner there. So, in one simple word, this is transformation, major transformation. Um, I spoke earlier before we were recording that last time Pluto was in Aquarius was approximately 250 years ago, at which time we had the French and American revolutions, the Industrial Revolution, this huge shift in human rights, individual human rights, and massive shifts in social structures. This time, we're going in head first. And so, in that current, in your core practice with this key this week, I want you to really plunge into this key. Keep it at your bedside. In some way, you can hold it in front of you. And for 5 minutes, give it your full attention. Then, as you're lying down, go to sleep, I want you to hold that imagery in front of you. And then, this week, every night, for the next 6 nights, I want you to see yourself, feel yourself, merge into the key and assume the position of the world dancer. Come directly into and assume this position. See yourself in that central space within your own center, within the wreath of victory, your own auric field. Play with this. See the purple cough wrapped around you. See yourself holding these spirals of power and light. And look around and really look at the animals and the positions they are in the space, in your interior space. Now, after you've held this position for some time, this is something different you're going to do this week. You're going to add this to your core practice, and this is important to do. Do this week. You're going to then fill your entire awareness and consciousness with nothing but this purple radiant light from the core of your being. I want you to see it fill this whole auric field of energy that you're in, and then I want you to see it and know it expand in every direction as far as you can imagine and as far as you can allow yourself to feel this purple pure light merging out in all directions into the entire cosmos. This expansive awareness of purple light, know yourself as this. Allow yourself to feel yourself in this state, in this space, in this vibration. And as you're holding and just allowing this to expand infinitely, let everything else go as you drift off into sleep. Trust in the one that sustains you now and always has. Let it all go, relaxed in that trust. Then, should you find yourself awake this week in your dreams, make your number one goal to state the number 9 statement on the pattern on the trestle board. And see what unfolds for you. Thank you all for your light and participation in this most exciting time to be incarnate. It's a privilege to walk this path with you, and may the one light bless you, and may your light be a blessing to all. This concludes this week's class on TAV, the world key, and integrating the middle pillar. The floor is now open for any questions or comments.